Hey guys, you are listening to Insights with Kathleen,
Please join us while we share our insights and experiences
with the hope to inspire you to look inside of yourself.
for the answers you already have.
As with all information we receive,
Take what speaks to you
and leave the rest.
Anticipation is making me wait. So you're all hearing my dog in the background. Welcome back, everybody.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
So you probably will be hearing Lily in the background on and off, and we do apologize. But Lily's actually helping us out with the theme for today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's called anticipation.
Oh.
Yeah, so that little is her barking. So we have two doggos in the house here.
Yes, we do.
We're gonna say it's Lily's cousin, even though it's a totally different kind of
Right.
breed and all. But
Yeah.
it's my brother's dog. And what they like to do is Lily will chew on a bone, and then she acts like kind of stupid, like she forgot it or walked away, and Bubby pounces in. So that's
Right.
the other dog's name. And then she basically is giving him the bone.
Right.
But from the human perspective, it looks like, oopsie, I dropped it. Oh no, I'm a victim. The other dog just came in and took it from me.
Right.
But that's not what's happening, because I've observed
Oh,
this
you observed this behavior
Yes.
past
And I
couple weeks.
trust me, everybody, this rant is going somewhere. So then what will happen is Bubby will pounce on the bone,
Uh-huh.
and then Lily will step back and she'll look, and then she'll look at me, and then she'll give that bark that you heard in the beginning.
Okay. Okay.
And it's like, all right, one, she's trying to engage me.
Right.
And two, she is anticipating her turn on the bone.
Okay.
Hence the song.
Hence
And I
the little
apologize
song.
for anybody's ears I've hurt.
I love that.
Yes. So have you, Sherry,
Yes.
ever had a moment where you were excited about something to happen, but then you started to feel anxious about it?
Oh, for sure. Many a times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about how that made you feel? Like, because I know that we've talked about this before on the podcast. We talked about anxiety and just hinted a little bit on depression, and how, one, if you're too far in the future, it can cause you anxiety. And
Right.
if you're looking too much in the back, it could, behind you, and what was in the past could
Cause
make you feel
depression.
depressed,
Yeah.
right? Or you can linger in that.
Right.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about what you feel around anxiety, and maybe some of the different levels. Like, you don't have to give us like specific events of when it happened, but just
Right.
kind of like those nuances for you.
Now I know for me, I've definitely experienced this many, many a times before, but I think the biggest one that comes to mind right now for this episode is kind of like when I'm about to perform, whether it be music, whether it be a service, whatever the case may be. Like whenever I'm like, it's my first day to do that, or I'm doing a performance, I feel like a different level of anxiety. Like the beginning part is like, oh, I'm very excited, I'm going to be doing this thing. And that's when it's like a little later down the line. But then when it starts getting close, I get so like anxious, and the feelings like, am I going to be prepared? Am I going to remember the words? Am I going to be able to perform the way I'm supposed to? Am I going to, all these thoughts running in my head. And I think I just deem it as like a negative thing. I'm like, oh, that means I should cancel. I shouldn't do this thing because I can't,
And where do you feel that in your body? Do you feel it in your body at all?
I think, I don't know. I guess like in my head a lot. In my head, in my chest area. And then sometimes it's like kind of in my fist, and I'm like, I can't. It's like I'm trying to breathe, and I'm like, I can't breathe. I can't do it. And it's like that type of thing.
Sure. Well, for me,
Yeah.
oh, in case anybody hasn't picked up on this, I do like to do plays, and I like to act, and I like to be silly. And
What? That's why.
Before a performance, I might get butterflies.
Ah.
Before a first date,
Oh, yeah.
I would get butterflies, like that anticipation but anxiety coming in.
Right.
So I think that this is that part where it's always so important to be in touch with our feelings, and to understand, how do those feelings feel in our body.
Right.
So from what you're describing to me, it's like you are getting into your head.
It's
because
very
you're
much a head
because
thing.
you're feeling it all in your head. For me, everything's in my stomach. And then like you're clenching so like you're clenching parts of your body, and it's like your hand. That's why maybe
Right.
your hand's feeling numb.
Right.
For me, I kind of feel things in my back.
Oh, interesting.
So all of us, each and every one of us, we take those things in differently. So it's not just about an emotion that you're feeling, like whether you feel like crying or you feel like laughing or whatever. It's the emotion is being felt throughout the cells in your body.
Right.
And then depending on you as a person, where you might hold it.
Right.
And it's important to take note of it. It's like witness, observing, kind of like how I observe the dogs in this behavior
Right.
that they're displaying over this bone and all this noise that they make. And at first you're kind of like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Are they going to fight? Ah! But it's just them anticipating.
Right. Right.
But it's an excitement.
Ah.
And our body, sometimes the chemical makeup in our body will produce the same kind of hormones, whether it's a happy anxious or a stressful anxious.
Right. Right.
Right. So it really does come down to making sure that you are taking care of you. What's that mean, Kathleen? That's so vague.
Yeah,
Well, okay.
Kathleen, that's so vague. What do you mean? I speak for the audience.
You're repeating yourself too, Kathleen. It is knowing what your triggers are.
Right.
Right. So I know that you've dealt with anxiety, the kind that most people may have labeled as not good or dense or,
right.
Oh my goodness, I am such an anxious person. They're going to put me on medication for that.
Right.
Opposed to, I am excited about this, but now I'm becoming anxious because it's getting closer.
Right. Right.
Right. And for somebody who maybe has been trying to work through most of their life on managing their own anxiety,
Yeah.
that the nervous excitement part that's supposed to be the fun part can be skewed in the perception of what's really happening.
Oh, dang. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. So it kind of gets skewed, right? And this is where, we also make jokes all the time. I use this word, perspective, right?
You say both of those words?
Yeah, probably more perspective than perception. But,
yeah, that's your word, but that's also too.
But your perception of it influences your perspective.
Someone get that on a shirt.
So when we're not able to really sort between what is the anxiety, which anxiety is what? Right? Which one is the one that I'm living way too out in the future and I'm overwhelming myself, opposed to the one that like, oh, this event's about to happen and I'm nervous, excited, feeling a little anxious, right?
Right.
A little anticipation kind of thing, right?
Right, right.
So take a breath. It doesn't matter either way. Both the anxiety pieces, whether it's you're living way out or you're just excited about something,
right?
Take a breath. And if you don't know which is which, take a breath.
Okay.
Always take a breath. A good breath, not just this little shallow breath. No, we're not talking that. We're talking all the way deep into the bottom of your stomach. Like, watch your stomach blow up like a balloon. Feel your ribs, when your lungs expand, taking in all of that air.
Right.
And then blow it out. Like you take it in and blow it out through your mouth. like almost as if like you're really like trying to push it out through your breath.
Right.
And that actually helps your body to reset a little bit.
Mm-mm.
Blow it out fast, with purpose. And then it kind of relaxes. And then just say, okay, wait a minute. Let me just evaluate real quick. Oh, I have this thing that I really am excited about. That's what this is. This is just that nervous,
right,
anxious kind of a feeling. And it's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm really okay.
Really okay.
And, and then just do what you need to do to keep yourself calm, come back into the present moment. Savor it, though, because you know what?
Savor it.
I know it sounds really ridiculous. All right. So, like when you meet a new person.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And you kind of start crushing on that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those little butterflies that happen.
Yeah.
That's kind of like an anxiety kind of a thing, an anticipation.
Huh.
See, now Lily's back to anticipating that bone.
Speaking of.
You know, and then let's say that person is showing interest in you, and now you have a date,
Right.
and the date's not for like a week or so, because
Right.
hopefully whoever's planning dates with you give you enough notice and don't think that you're just the last minute whatever. Okay, no, sorry, that's a side note.
Just so you know, guys.
Not that that's ever happened to me, because that's an automatic no, thank you. I'm busy. Anyway. So, but now you have a week and you're excited and you're nervous because you're like, I don't know. Are they going to really like me? Like, what if we're going out to eat and then I get stuff stuck in my teeth? Are they going to still like me even though, you know what I mean?
Right.
But so that's that nervous kind of, that stuff you want to savor.
Right.
Because it doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
But at the same time, you also need to be fluid in allowing it to move through you.
So not just getting stuck on that.
Yeah, don't get stuck in it. You just want to welcome that emotion and kind of savor it a little bit, like it's a little appetizer, if you will, and then welcome it to keep moving, because you know what, in nature things just keep changing. Things are always moving.
Right.
I think that helps us as a human being if we can just allow that to just kind of wash over us,
Right.
notice it, feel it,
Right.
thank it, and welcome it to keep on going.
Right. Keep on going.
Because, you know, for that example,
Yeah.
you know, new love or the idea of meeting new people, like that doesn't happen all the time, those feelings.
Right.
Same with like if you're anticipating, you're real excited about some concert or something,
Right.
you know, that doesn't happen all the time,
Right.
you know, and savor it a little bit.
Savor a little bit.
Okay. But now, on the other Zen side of this,
Go to your Zen side.
You know that there's more to this.
Right.
All right. So I think like if we were to bring in like a spiritual journey into this,
Right.
the journey towards enlightenment is that we want to reduce the space between polarities in how we feel.
Right.
So we're not saying don't feel.
Yeah.
We're saying,
your
hey,
feels.
you need to feel your feels, but also have a way to come back to neutral.
Right.
How do you come back to neutral? By welcoming it, feeling it, understanding it, right? What do I mean by understanding that? Understanding means feeling it out in you. All right. Ooh, I feel this feeling. Where's this coming from?
Right.
And a lot of times this could happen like a split second or less, you know, but it's getting into the practice. Sometimes getting into the practice could take a little longer.
Right. Right.
Especially if we're not used to doing it, right?
Yes. Whenever I'm venturing into something new, I think the thing I always think of like, I get in my head and now I'm feeling anxious. And also I get frustrated. I'm like, why can't I already be confident in that area already? And I know it's like counterproductive, but that's just kind of my thought process whenever I'm doing that.
Right. But that also comes back to, and this isn't just you, I do this too. And it does come back to understanding that that's part of self-judgment.
Oh.
Right. And judgment is not a bad thing. It's a thing. And judgment tells us information. It gives us information. It tells us a story. It helps us on the journey.
Yeah.
But the key is not to get stuck in judgment either. And because when we are judging ourselves, we get stuck.
Right.
How do we know we're judging ourselves? You ready for this one?
All right. Tell me
Okay.
right now.
We know how we're really judging ourselves is when we're being honest. First of all, be honest with you when I say this, okay? And you don't need to share this out loud. But I'm just saying for
You're
people
like, Sherry,
for
don't.
people who are listening, okay? Think honestly that how do you judge other people? What? When you are judging other people, when there are certain things that trigger you and you have a judgment towards that, that's actually a level of judgment that you are putting to you. That's why they always say when you point a finger, think about how many fingers are being pointing back to you.
A good 3.
Yeah, right? And people are mirrors. We've said this before.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, because each of us are here to have this experience for ourselves.
Yeah.
So think about I was thinking about this the other day. So think about, like, when you've watched a movie or a show where you're watching the events through the camera's lens.
Yeah.
And then you see all these like people around, or all these other players.
Right.
Right. And they're just kind of like the the camera's the main character, which is you, the main character, and everybody else is just the supporting players.
Right.
That's it.
Oh.
So in your life,
you're the main character in your own story.
Yeah, you're the main character in your own story, and I'm your supporting actor.
Ah.
And vice versa. I am the main character in my story, and you're my supporting actor.
I try.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your part in that. That's what makes it like so mind-blowing and so much fun to conceptualize the idea, right? And I just love this idea.
Right.
And again, I'm going to just put our little disclaimer out there. Take what works for you, leave the rest. But the more that I see an experience, I've come to know that we just aren't born. Like, we just don't show up in our mother's uterus and say, ta-da, world, here we are. We actually come in with a plan. So we're divine beings.
Right.
And we've always heard about the divine. We've heard about God has a plan.
Yeah.
Right? And with us being divine beings and children of God,
right,
we came in with a plan.
Well, you came in with a purpose,
And the plan is all of us. We're all working together with that plan. And we've all agreed, like, I wanted to have a certain experience, and you raised your hand and you said, oh, I want the other end of that experience. I want to participate in your experiment.
Right.
Because I have my own little experiments going on here, and we're all like making deals on this table before we're even embodied.
I love that.
Yeah. So with that concept all in mind, okay, and remembering that we're here, we're living this life for us,
right,
for ourselves.
Yeah.
Not to say that we need to be selfish, because that's not good either. It's not very loving of anybody, most of all of yourself.
Right.
So if we're here and this is our experiment, our journey, and we scripted this loosely, but we scripted certain experiences that we definitely want to make sure that somehow it happened, right?
Right.
A variation of it happened so that we can experience that. Be careful with the judgment. Because you're really just doing that to yourself. So here's another story. So, like, I know somebody who's real good at tearing people down. Like, she doesn't do it to their face. It's kind of, sort of with them in the same room, and but kind of that person thinks that they're doing it where nobody hears, but everybody knows. Right. And then that person's like wondering why nobody likes them. And she's kind of like, everybody's talking about me. Right. Well, no one's really talking about her, not in the way that she thinks that they are. Right. But the reason she thinks that they are is because that's what she's doing. Okay. So her perception of the world is through her own lens. Her own lens is to sit there back talking. Right. Or, talking behind people's backs, not back talking, but talking behind people's backs with somebody else. Right. And so from that perspective, everybody else must be doing the same about her. Okay. So that's where I say, like, judgment, be careful with that. Because whoever you're judging, you're really judging yourself, and you're carrying that around, and now you're self-conscious. So now that you're self-conscious, now you're afraid, and that can feed into anxiety.
Oh, whoa. That was
like, where did that come from?
That was a great, just holy. Mic drop.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, we're done for tonight. Goodbye. No, I'm kidding. So, what do you think about that?
Mic drop. Good night. No, very, very concise. I like the different layers that you went through. So, thank you. And I guess my biggest takeaway for myself is just the judgment of how I'm judging my own emotions and feelings and my reactions to them. Because sometimes I'll be taking them in a certain way, maybe based on like life experience, whatever the case may be. And I might hold on to that instead of flowing and being like, okay, that's just something that's how I feel about that emotion. But that doesn't mean, it's bad. It's just, you're just flowing with it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. So if we were not meant to feel emotions and experience emotions, then why did we get them? Why are we born with them?
Touche.
So that's important to say. And I want to say it again another way. Because I know with some of the information that we share too, someone may receive it in a way to say, oh, I'm not supposed to feel my feelings. I'm not supposed to have feelings, because we're looking to close that polarity, right? We're looking to come into neutral.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're saying, because feelings are extremely valuable.
And rich and chocolatey. Trademark.
Yeah. So, because it's through our feelings that we get this wealth of information.
Right.
And information about what we want in life and what we don't want.
Right.
Right on down to the tiniest little thing.
Oh, for sure. For me, just like with my own experience, I was dealing with something earlier and I was like, anxious about it. I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. Let's say like this particular job. And I was in my head about it, but I'm still really excited to do this job. And I guess for me, at first I was like, oh, I don't want to feel this emotion. This anxious emotion feels bad. But then I like looked back on it and I was like, oh, why am I feeling this way? And it was just a level of perfectionism. I wanted to be perfect at this. Why is that? And I kind of went through all of that. And in going through that, I was able to learn a lot about myself and why I was feeling it. And then once I was able to maybe clear all of that, I was able to think, oh, I'm actually really excited to do this thing I'm, doing in this journey next.
Well, very exciting for all of us.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. And, it's funny because I totally lost my train. Choo, choo.
I know I'm that good.
You are very, very good.
Something about velvety chocolate feelings and looking back on emotions and not judging them, not judging yourself.
So you were also saying that, what you were saying was, this is the thought that it triggered. Sometimes if we're afraid of the emotion or feeling the emotion, or we're over judging, and we become anxious, anxious can also turn into fear, and we become fearful, and then we become frozen.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And we're not even moving forward in life.
Right.
And that's important to pay note of. Feelings are, they're actually like your super, superhero special power, right?
Oh yeah.
And they can be even the ones that nobody really wants to feel, the hurt, the crying, that heavy. But in there's a lot of richness. There's a lot of information.
Are they chocolatey?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
Sometimes they're peanut brittle.
Ew, ugh, get it away from me. I don't want this.
Crunchy and nutty and a little salty.
That's a good one.
Yeah, thank you. But the point of the matter is that we don't need to wallow in our feelings. We don't need to be stuck there. But we do need to recognize them. We need to honor them. And we need to step back and look and say, okay, why am I really feeling this way?
Right.
Right? Because we're the ones who are feeling it. No one can make us feel any particular way. And no one can tell us how we feel.
Yeah.
Nobody. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
God himself cannot tell you how to feel.
Yeah.
Because they're your feelings, and they're not right and they're not wrong. And, and I'll just say this one last thing as we close up for this evening. Let go of fear. It's okay to make mistakes, because it's in the mistakes we have the biggest growth, and nothing is wasted. Have a good night, everybody. Remember, you are bigger than anything that you are going through or anything that is happening around you.